Alright guys, so I know someone was asking about how the whole automatic docking system works for the space dock that I built here in my world. This is all built in survival, so that's kind of fun. But I'll go do a quick rundown of how it works, and then I'll do a little demonstration of how it working. So the automatic docking sequence starts with a automation sensor. It's only looking for a large grid ship within 10 meters of the sensor. So if we go here and we go to the sensor, basically that's all it is. Proximity alert's on, but other than that, it only looks for the large grid ship. So once it detects a large grid ship, if we go into the little control center there, which I haven't gotten air routed to yet, so come down here, it starts. Damn it, it's on the wrong side. These two timer blocks here, or well, it starts just this one, which has a 3-second delay. That's to give you a little bit of time to set up, like, and get the ship in a perfect spot, so that way you're like lined up when the docking sequence starts. So this timer block, which I just have set it as dock, it starts timer block for the front left docking arms, the front right, the rear right, and the rear left. It also turns off the sensor because I've run into issues where the sensor, when you connect and unconnect the ship from like its unloading arms, which are the red arm there is to load hydrogen and charge the ship, and then the orange one here unloads all materials and stuff that are stored in the ship. When it would undock, it would, excuse me, sorry about that, the sensor would reread what was going on, so that timer block automatically turns the sensor off, so that way when you go to undock, it doesn't start the docking sequence again. So each of these little rows of timer blocks and event controllers control each of the individual not each of the individual, but the corners of the arms. So one controls the front left, one controls the front right, one controls the rear left, and one controls the rear right. The front event controllers are no longer used anymore. They don't do anything. Originally, when I built it, I would have them turn hinge lock on all the hinges when the magnets connect, but I was running into a lot of issues where it either wouldn't hinge lock properly. Well, that was the issue, is it wouldn't hinge lock upon locking onto the ship. So when I used the timer blocks on the undocking sequence, it would lock the hinges and then it wouldn't undock properly. I found out it works fine without having to do that, so I just haven't removed them. But basically, once that timer starts the docking sequence, it starts this timer in the same location. So all of these timers in this location, so of the 4 here, the 2 on the left are the 2 for docking and the 2 on the right are for undocking. The one on the left does the same thing for each arm. It's just set up so that each arm is individually timed. So what that does is it starts after 1 second of starting, it will reverse both the hinges on the arms, which are set in groups. So the 2 hinges on each arm is set into a group, so it'll reverse both of those to start bringing them in. It'll also turn the warning lights on inside the whole thing, so that just to kind of warn everyone that there's a ship docking. It's just for cool stuff. Doesn't serve any actual purpose. And then it starts timer block 2, which all that does for timer block dock 2 is it just tells the pistons to extend, and then it starts the warning light off timer block, which is one of these. I don't know which one. This one here. All this does is after 10 seconds, it turns off the warning light, and then it turns off all the magnetic plates that grab on, so that way when you're undocking, does it do that? Hang on. Yeah, it's set to turn them off, so that way when you're undocking, it won't, the magnetic plates won't re-grab, basically. Oh, actually, excuse me, I'm incorrect. So what it does is that this timer block turns the magnetic plates back on, because during the undocking sequence, after the magnetic plates unlock, they turn off so that they won't relock, and that timer is run both by docking and undocking sequence. So then the other thing that happens is these event controllers are looking for landing gear locked, which is the magnetic plates. So either or of those magnetic plates, what it does when it does that is it turns the piston off, so it keeps the piston from continuing to extend, because the ship is not going to be in the exact spot every time. It needs to stop as soon as it's docked, because you can't really set, you can set a general length of how far the piston should extend, but it can't be the same every time. Sometimes it may need to extend more, sometimes it may need to go less. So the way I got around that was just turning the piston off as soon as the magnetic plates lock onto the ship. So that's basically all the docking sequence is it does that.
Energy low.
Of course my energy's low. Hang on. Fly over here, back to the base, and we will recharge our energy real quick. Alright, there we go. All better. My little airlock uses timer blocks too. But, so that's the whole docking sequence. So basically that's all it does is once it grabs, the arms grab onto the ship, it turns the pistons off and leaves them in place. And so let's go ahead and demonstrate that real quick, and then I will go to the undocking sequence. So we get in our ship. Oopsies. Level it out again properly. Move forward into position. Little stutter. So, oopsies. A little too far. Like I said in my first video that some of you may have seen, you don't have to line it up perfectly, but you want to get it close. So then if we go down here, eventually when we get it low enough, right about there, the sensor block will register that the ship is parked and start the docking sequence, which turns the lights on and extends the arms. And then again, as the arms lock onto the ship, it turns the pistons off. So there you go, you can turn your ship off and now your ship's floating on the arms. So right now the magnetic plates are locked into place, the pistons are turned off, and I do not use hinge lock anymore because, like I said earlier, it was running into a lot of issues with the hinges not actually locking when they're supposed to be. So the next thing you would do on your docking sequence is you would hook up the red arm, which is going to be refilling the ship with hydrogen, recharging the batteries. These are controlled by a script. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but I'll find a link in the description and put that there. But other than that, these arms that actually dock the ship are not controlled at all by any scripts. They're all vanilla. And then this arm connects here to this piston to unload the cargo into the cargo containers on the side of the docking station here. So then to the undock sequence, which it doesn't have a sensor. I haven't figured out a way to do that. So the way you do it is you remote access to the moon base, which is just the name of my base. And then in here you hit the number 2, which starts, oops, I hit the wrong button, sorry. Starts this timer block. Oh no, not that one. This one, which is the timer block undocking sequence, which also has a 3-second delay to give you time to make sure your engines are on and all that stuff. And then that will start this guy here. Yep. Wrong one. Sorry. Again. The undock timer block 1, which has a 1-second delay. What that does is all it does is unlock the magnetic plates and then starts the next timer block. The next timer block is where all the magic happens, where it will unlock the magnetic plates a second time just to be sure that they're not stuck to the ship, because if they're still stuck to the ship and the arms pull away, they'll explode the magnetic plates. So it does that. It'll unlock them a second time. Then it reverses the hinges again on both the arms. It will turn on the pistons again and then retract both the pistons, and then it turns off the magnetic plates. So that way, if for whatever reason the arms move away a little too slow or something like that, they won't reconnect again to the ship, because that'll throw the whole thing off if it does that. So it turns them off to do that. And then again, it starts this timer block. Wrong button again. Which turns the lights off and then turns all the magnetic plates on again. I just happen to have it set so that it runs on the docking sequence again, because it was the easiest way to do it. It'll try to turn the magnetic plates on when you dock, but the magnetic plates are already on, so nothing actually happens. So that's pretty much it. Both these arms, just for fun, are controlled from this control seat. Jesus, I can't speak. So they each have a camera, one there, one on the wall, and it's one on the connector, one on the wall, and then you can look at them from over here. So that's pretty much that. So then we'll go ahead and undock real quick. I'll show you what that looks like. So it's fairly easy. With the 3-second delay gives you plenty of time, even if you accidentally turn off, like you have your hydrogen engines set to stockpile on, or your hydrogen tanks set to stockpile, and your batteries on recharge. It still gives you plenty of time to return them off. So you get out of your ship, go to remote access, go to the base, hit the timer block, get out, get back in the ship, turn your engines on. And the ship will wobble a little bit as it's unlocking, but otherwise it doesn't do anything crazy. And you take off. I've had fairly reliable success with this. The biggest issue I have is this arm down here. Specifically, only this one. The magnetic plates keep breaking off for some reason. But so far, after a little bit of a better alignment with the ship, it's been getting better and better. Someone did suggest using an AI block to completely automate the automatic sequence to put the ship in the best spot for the docking system. I haven't tried that yet, but that's something I'm going to do in the future, and I'll give an update if it works. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's the whole docking sequence that I kind of designed on my own, pretty much. Other than I saw a video of, like, I got the inspiration from a video that I watched, and it was another ship docking, but it didn't have any explanation on how it worked and all that shit. It just was the actual ship docking. The ship docking, so that's where I kind of got the inspiration for doing this. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. And you guys have a great day.